Welcome back, champions. Today is just a very, very quick one because I want to share something with you. I was building up a bit of a thing that I just sort of use for myself just to refresh my mind over certain brands and bits and pieces. And I thought, why don't I actually make it easy to read for people and then give it to people? So basically that's what I'm going to do today. So I have been selling jeans online for a long time now. If you've been here for a while, you would have seen I've done top 10 brands, I've done overrated brands, I've done underrated brands, I've done all sorts of random different things. But I thought, why not sort of put it out there with all the brands that I'm sort of looking at and the ones that I'm not looking at. And instead of just being a big cluster of things thrown at you, you can actually just read it and keep it as a little checklist sort of thing for yourself. Now, what I've done, I've graded them. So I've got A tier, I've got B tier, C, D, E, and F. And basically, I get the question a lot in how much would you pay for Levi's? And that's impossible to answer, really, because so many of them have different, it could come down to model size, male, female, there's so many different reasons why it could be worth $20 or why it could be worth $120. So this is kind of based on averages, what I'd personally pay for certain things and what on average I'd expect to get returns on. So A tier is like high-end brands, very high designer, big turnover. It's expected 80 plus returns. And, I'd spend up to $15 on that sort of thing. Whereas then B is really good brands, but they might be a bit more common. They might have good sell-through rate, but not turnover as quick. So, you might be getting those $30 to $40 plus your shipping, so on and so forth. Then there's this little special section with motorcycle brands that I really like. Most of them you can guarantee yourself probably 40 plus. And then there's the F tier, which is brands that sometimes I get asked, would you touch this? And I wouldn't. It's stuff that I just really have no interest in. Yeah, it might still sell, but it might sit there forever, or they just don't sell. And it's your obvious ones are in there, obviously, Anko, Rivers, stuff like that. Not saying it doesn't sell, it's just not stuff that I'd touch personally because of sell-through or price. So that's just a quick breakdown. And instead of me just rattling off every brand like I have in the past, this way I can just share this little bit of information and hopefully it helps. I'd love to do an update on it. So if you've got feedback, you can email me at sidelineseconds@gmail.com or drop down below your thoughts, things that I could change, or if you think I've got them in the wrong category, and then I may even put up a poll so then, we can see what majority of people think. I'm no expert, and as I said, this is all based on my experience, but also, research through Terapeak and just on eBay in general. So I'm in Australia. This is very Australia specific. It's brands that are all around the world, but there will be brands in there. If you're from the States or the UK or wherever, it could be a little bit different for you. We might have easy accessibility to certain things that you don't. You guys probably do have easy access to stuff that we don't. There's certain brands that seem to sell good here that don't over there, So there's so many different varying factors. I do put a little keynote in there to explain that again, but this is an average, and it's just a way to, if you are new in the game or you need a refresher or something, it might just help learn a couple of these brands. So always still do the research, because there's all different models or styles. There might be boot cut, there might be skinny jeans, blah, 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 all different sorts of stuff that might be in right now. So a lower end brand might actually be selling high if they're flared. Whereas you might get a high-end brand and say skinny leg isn't real popular in that area, it might be going for bugger all. So I still recommend, if it's not something that you do a whole lot of, I'd be still doing some comps. Don't just take this as, oh, that's going to be worth 30 to 40 because that's what the spreadsheet says. It's just an average, and it's an average of what I'd want to return on them. Obviously, there's things like damage can affect it. There's all sorts of things. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a link down below. It's just a Google form. All you're going to do is put your email in, and I will just send them out. So if you do want one, you'll have it emailed to you. It's basically just an Excel. There's those few tiers. I've got a little bit of a bonus thing down the bottom, just sort of a little bit of a guide on recognizing fakes. And then, yeah, I can add more to it. I can take stuff off it. If you think it's absolute crap, tell me why. I would appreciate the feedback. There's no catch to it. Nothing. It's free. I wouldn't charge for it. It's just sort of stuff that I do. And it's also, you know, I've said before, I have people source for me in different states, and then they send it to me. And, you know, I've picked off a handful of these brands where I have another list that I give to them. The people that source for me on what I'm chasing, because it'll be more common, and that's the sort of stuff that I want. So this is the more extended one with a lot of brands, and I can guarantee I've missed a couple, but there's over 150 brands on here for starters. So if you think I've missed any, drop them below. And yeah, I hope it helps. If it does, I'd really love to hear that. So not usual type video today, something really different to what I normally would do. I've always sort of said I'm not an educator, and this isn't to educate, but I'm hoping it can maybe help. And it's stuff that's, it's brands that I look at, and now you can sort of see every single brand that I look at that I can think of off the top of my head, and what I'd on average pay. But once again, make sure you still do those comps, because that's what it all comes down to. And trends change. This is right now 2025, start of 2025. And I can almost guarantee if you looked at that list in 2 years and I redid it, I'd change it. So things come and go. So I appreciate you, love the feedback, and next time we'll go for a treasure hunt again. Love ya.
Dipper, dipper, doodle, dumb, I'ma thrift a big fat.